You read the title right. The goal of this video is to get you to win tournaments, starting from completely scratch. What I'm going to teach you are the most important concepts. This is the only thing you need to learn. This is the only thing you need to start chess and win your first tournaments. So there are basically millions of concepts in chess, and most of them are advanced, but contributes very little to your success. Some of it you won't be able to use. Just by watching this video, you save years of useless training. Don't believe me? Here are proof of my past success in chess, and here's a full timeline, a document where you can audit it yourself. Started with a year-on-year breakdown, starting with 3rd grade. Basically, my dad kept a record of all my tournaments that I participated in. Scroll down. That is here. So, how do I simplify chess? Sequence is everything in chess. Opening is more important than middle game, and it's more important than the end game. So if you lose the opening, the game is over. So there's no point in learning endgame concepts. You keep blundering in the opening if you keep losing pieces in the opening. There's no point in learning advanced middle game concepts. You get checkmated in 4 moves. There's no point in learning rook endgames if you lose major pieces in the middle game. So my recommendation is have only one opening per color. That ensures you take control of the game. I mean, the game is the sequence of moves. You control the variations. Closer look. Have two openings for black, one against e4, one against d4. You should introduce the opening or variations. It means you should introduce the opening. There are openings that once you move it, the opening shifts to that opening. So you should the one taking the lines, not opening, not moving and then waiting for your opponent to introduce an opening. It should be your only opening if you play your opening the most. You're familiar with the sequence while your opponent spends energy to think. So if you're only playing your opening, then you spend very little time thinking because you've already seen most of your opponents play the different moves and the different outcomes. So how do you start chess? First is learn the fundamentals. In opening, control the center, which is the e4, d4, e5, and d5 squares. Develop your pieces quickly. Bring out your knights and bishops early to active squares. Develop knights before bishops. This is just an easy developing rule because knights don't get threatened unlike bishops, and knights can allow easier development. So bishops should aim for the strongest diagonals where they control the most squares. An example is Let me show you the board. Example is a strong diagonal is a bishop that controls the most squares. This one, this one, this one, and this one. A weak bishop is a bishop that controls very little squares. A worst case scenario is a bishop like this one. It doesn't target anything. So, castle early for king safety. Safety first after developing your knights and bishops. Castle. Castling allows you to connect rooks. Avoid moving the same piece multiple times in the opening. Each move should develop a new piece unless it's part of the opening moves. You shouldn't waste moves in the opening. Don't bring the queen out too early. Exposing the queen allows your opponent to be attacked by minor pieces, allowing them to gain tempo. I'll explain more about tempo later. It's it's an advanced concept. Connecting your rooks. After castling, try connecting your rooks by developing all minor pieces and moving the queen if necessary. Avoid too many pawn moves. Only move pawns as needed for development, rather than pushing too many, which can weaken your structure. Be mindful of weak structures and pawns. Avoid creating weaknesses like isolated or double pawns unless it's justified by active play. Since you're a beginner, we should flip this interpretation. We should flip this interpretation to don't have double pawns unless the opening suggests. The middle game. Train your analysis. The best way to train your analysis is to play lots of games. And the way I can add to that is to learn tactics and chess puzzles. Play lots of games and learn tactics, which is the pin, which is you need to create pins, forks, skewers, discovered attacks, and sacrifices, and play in chess puzzles. Essential fundamentals of the middle game. Follow through the opening's theory and plan. Every opening has a set theory and plan. For example, I shouldn't have an example because you probably have no idea about this one. So every theory has a plan. So you don't need to create a plan while you're playing the middle game, because the opening has a set of ideas already. You just need to follow that. So that makes everything easier. So don't blunder in the middle game. Just don't blunder. A tip to not blundering is always looking for checks, captures, and threats. Watch out for pins, forks, skewers, discovered attacks, and sacrifices. What I mean by that is somewhat of a should I? A pin is this one. It means you can't move your piece because the one behind it The one behind it, the more important piece behind it, is will be captured if you move the pin piece. What's the other one? Pins, forks. Okay, this is your assignment. Fisher's rule. Fisher's rule. If a piece crosses your half of the board, this half, if a piece crosses that half, then you need to capture it, because that would be the most active piece on the board. So basically, as a beginner, the Fisher's rule works very well. But if you get into the more advanced class, then it's not optimal. But for now, Fisher's rule is the best for avoiding blunders. Place rooks on open files. Basically, if a rook is better if a file is open like this, compared to if there's a pawn in front of it. Okay. There are a lot more middle game principles, but focus on those first. So, if you focus on this one, the essentials and the fundamentals that I already taught you, it is enough to win your tournaments. It is enough to beat your friends. It is enough to get you started in chess. These other ones are, although there are a lot more concepts that I haven't taught you, teach you, it doesn't matter as much. You won't be able to apply it in every game, and it's a lot to learn. It takes a lot to learn, but it gives you very little impact in your games. So we're about 12. So it includes taking initiative, pawn structure, bishop knight placement, how to attack, how to defend, and we go to the end game. So remember, opening is greater than middle game, and middle game is greater than the end game. If you lose in the opening, there's no point learning the end game. Fundamentals of the end game. So the essentials. Learn how to checkmate from queen and rook only. So you should be able to checkmate with only these, with only that position, and you should be able to checkmate with this position. You should learn that as an assignment. So, in the end game, so when it comes to learning how to checkmate with a queen and a rook, it's the easiest thing to start with, because learning with how to mate with other pieces like knights and bishops are harder, and the queen and the rook concepts are the most common if you find yourself in winning positions. So everything you've done doesn't matter until you close the game. Until you actually win or checkmate, most of the beginner games, your opponent doesn't resign until you checkmate them. So the king joins the fight. The rook belongs behind passed pawns. So a rook is stronger if it's behind a pawn than in front of a pawn, because you're going to promote it, compared to if it's in front of it. If it's the rook is in front, then the rook is going to block the pawn. So it's stronger if it's behind, because it supports the pawn better. So there are a lot of mistakes when it comes to endgames that most new players do. It's having a passive king, not moving the king and keeping it on the corner instead of having it on the center, rushing pawn moves, advancing it too soon without proper support. So other endgame principles that are not that important. So these are essentials. So my recommended openings for beginners: it is the London system for white. In black, it is the King's Indian system against d4 and Perk against e4. So the King's Indian and the Perk is almost the same. King's Indian is like a setup, and you can apply it to Perk. You can learn all these three openings in YouTube. You can search it up, and if you want a copy, you can send me a DM. And we go to the Beat Your Friends in 30 Days challenge. It doesn't matter if you don't know the moves. It's a specialist program for your current skill level. It is improvement guaranteed, and I'll give you your money back if the program doesn't work. All you need to do is click the link.